Good morning. All right, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. What's going on, guys? So today is more or less like a Thursday, right? I guess. So keep in mind that now that it's Wednesday, Friday, there's a bunch of big holidays. Thursday, there's a couple bank holidays as well, and people will probably be trying to take just a longer weekend. So today is going to be probably the last decent trading day of the week. Tomorrow might be okay, but we'll see. We have ADP non-farm at 8:15 in the morning. And typically it's a non-event, but people won't be on the charts trading NFP Friday. And so people might just get antsy and just try to trade today. Trade ADP today. So maybe it's an actual event this time. We'll see. Something to keep in mind. Why are the 3 time frames? I'll let you know in 1 second. Why NFP released on Good Friday? Yeah, it just happened to be the first Friday of the first Friday of the month. And it's lands on right on Good Friday, and nobody's gonna be trading on Friday, so it's gonna be interesting. Maybe it bleeds off into Monday, or I guess Tuesday, because Monday is gonna be a holiday as well. So, with that being said, we also have ISM Services PMI at 10 a.m. David, I don't really have 3 time frames. I mean, I use everything. You know, I use the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute. I mean, I don't really have 3 time frames. I mean, maybe the ones I use the most would be like probably the 1, 30, and 4, maybe, or the 5, 30, and 4, 5. I don't know, but I use them all. I don't really have 3 time frames, you know. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at the Dixie. And we'll see what's going on today. So daily chart closed bearish below this area of support. We're now back down to 101.5. This is really more or less what we anticipated yesterday. And now today we're finding support here. So what happens, you know, at this area, every time we find support, we get a push back up towards 102.3. Right, 102.3. So we can at least expect a little bit of a pop today, heading up to the upper end of the range here. Fill some of yesterday's move is what I would expect. So as we're breaking through this resistance, came back to retest it. So we're probably just going to start filtering up today. So equities. US30 closed bearish at this area of resistance. Retested it, closed bearish, and so now you'd expect it to start pushing down. However, the current daily has no upper wick. So that's something that I won't trade. As far as like I won't trade the shorts unless we create an upper wick. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, finding some support here, nice bullish engulfing. So I'd expect US30 to start pushing to the upside, break through, create a daily wick, and then maybe start rolling over. But we'll see what we get today closer into the nicey open, because I feel like the longs are probably going to be in play today. So we'll just have to see when it gets closer. And then I'm only going to consider these shorts here if we can create an upper wick on the daily, because that's just part of my rules. US 500 S&P is actually back down to support, so decent area to buy off of. 1 hour chart looks very similar to the Dow. We're finding some support here, bullish engulfing. So I'd expect something like this. So buys in the indices are more in play than anything, the way they're setting up this morning. But again, it's only 7:06, so we have plenty of time for them to set up still. I will look for longs. It's so early, I figure we'll probably end up pushing up a little more, so I'll look for longs on like a break and retest of this neckline here. US 100 broke through this trend line, but I talk about this setup all the time. I used to talk about it all the time, but it hasn't played out, or it hasn't presented itself in a little bit. But you have this trend line here with these higher lows. You break through, you find support at that next area of intersection on the trend line, and then you create a double bottom. What happens after this? You get a nice push to the upside. This is something I've traded and I've tested a lot. So this is something that I will definitely consider for longs. And so NASDAQ definitely in play for something like this. So all three indices look very decent for long setups today, but we'll have to see as they get closer to a NYSE open. Look at metals. Gold. Massive bullish close yesterday through 2000. We're now running into a prior area of resistance back from these previous all-time highs. And so what I'm going to look for is, if you look at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart broke through yesterday's high, gave us this doji, and now we're pushing bearish. We grabbed some liquidity. It's exactly what I talked about. I talked about this in my video that I posted last night. Is what I want to see is a breakthrough the highs, grab liquidity, and then we'll look for some sells to the downside. And it's presenting exactly the way it should be. So we're getting a break of these this trend line here. So what I'm going to look for is something like that, and I'll sell on that retest right here. Only going to look for a move back down towards 2010, maybe 2010 is going to be the main area to keep an eye on. But I mean, if it has enough weakness in it, maybe 2000 to retest 2000, the whole psychological level. But regardless, I'm only playing sells today in gold. It's just, yeah, it's just way too strong. If it's not going to break out, I mean, if it's not going to pull back today, it's just going to consolidate here for a couple of days. Because after a move like this, you typically get a consolidation or you get a pullback. And so I'm looking for the pullback, but we'll see what we get. US oil still consolidating at these highs. So I talked about this when they gapped up. I mentioned that we are either going to consolidate here at these highs, or we're going to get a nice pullback to fill this gap. And it seems like it wants to consolidate here. Let's see if there's any decent plays we can grab out of it. So there's wedging here at these highs. So we'll just have to wait to see which way it breaks out. It's going to be something like this, or we want to get something like this. Do we get it today? Maybe during ADP, maybe not. We'll just have to see what happens. Moving on to pound yen. David, I'll get to all your responses and when I'm done my analysis. I didn't want to leave you hanging there. Looking at pound yen. Nice rejection wick yesterday at these 166 highs. Prior area where we saw a lot of volume come into play to the downside. So looking at the 4-hour chart, again, and this is something I talk about literally all the time. Probably every day I beat this into your head, and if you haven't gotten it by now, then you're not paying attention. Is, you know, what happens at the previous areas that we've rejected. And if you look at the 1 hour here, it might show a little better. Is you see this consolidation, leg up, leg down, consolidation, and then we kind of just do our thing, right? If you look at it here, you have consolidation, leg up, leg down, consolidation, and then we'll see if we can kind of filter down from here. So zooming out, what happens after we create this leg here is we get this nice dip, and then it kind of consolidated. So maybe we get that consolidation, maybe we don't, but regardless, point of the story is you can expect some weakness, and you probably won't get that bounce to fill that move because, well, you know, history rhymes, right? So I'm going to be looking for that same play in pound yen. We've been putting in these lower highs. Very choppy here. I'm trying to think of the best way to trade this. So we're sitting here at support. Pretty strong area of rejection. So not much room to the downside. If we were to break this low here, it has about 18 pips. That's not enough range to trade. If we come down to this support, it seems to find support here and have a nice bounce, right? Found support, have a nice bounce. So potentially, if we can come down, maybe we look for some longs to retest this trend line, something like this. Because, again, if you look back at this previous area, come on. It just, as you can see, just ended up consolidating sideways, right? Finding some support and then consolidated sideways. Found this support here. So looking forward to really find the support here and consolidate a little bit. So I'm going to take longs against 163.800, 163.750. If it finds support, I'm not going to buy blindly. If it does break the support here, you have a range down until you have this area of support, this area. So you have these two different areas of support and resistance. So the range would be about, I mean, it's still about 20 pips. Not a huge fan. So I'm not looking for sells today in pound yen. I'm only going to look for buys against 163.8 to see then if we can get a pop back up. Let's see. Made a mistake on GU and gold yesterday and Monday. Took the entries on the 5 minute on the low of GU, but took profits. Mistake on GU and gold. Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a mistake, you know? You don't know, you can't predict that price action is going to cut loose towards 2024, right? Like gold, I mean, you had an entry and you caught some longs, fantastic, but you're never ever going to catch the entire move. You're never going to catch the full move. You got to take a piece of the move and just call it a day and say, hey, I just made some money from it. So you can't look at it that way. It wasn't a mistake. You caught some money. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what mistake you're referring to, but if you're referring to not catching the, you know, from 2006 to 2024, that's not a mistake. You know, you can't predict that's going to happen. It was actually smart taking profits to 2006. I use daily 4 hour for context and key levels, 30 minute, 5 minute for entries. Yeah, I do the same thing. 30 minutes for candlestick type entries such as hammer, doujin, glove. 5 minutes for structure based entries, break over. Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly the way I trade as well. So, would you say indices have a higher win rate than Forex? No. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just a preference on what you'd rather trade, right? I mean, it's just whatever your personality is and your trading style is probably where I gravitate towards, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just all relative onto what your trading style is and what your personality is. If you're more of a fast pace, looking for the quick moves, big moves kind of style, where you're just like in and out, then indices might be better for you. If you're more of like a laid back kind of just want to trade but not too fast, not too crazy, then you just, you know, trade Forex and you're good. Benjamin, damn, Yosef, having a beer on the beach, trading Forex. I gotta try that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this on the YouTube stream. We have our resident Israeli here who is on the beach trading right now, so it's we're all a little jealous. Oh, there's his beer. Yeah, cheers. Oh man, I love it. I'm so jealous. That's what, like, it's the best part about trading is you can trade from the beach, drink a beer, make some money, lose some money, but you're still having some fun. All right, let's see. Bias one side for like a whole month without having to change. Not sure what you mean. I find the trends in Forex very mean version. Like, it's almost always trending at like 45 degree angles, which allows for people to trade counter trend, whereas indices have real trends where I can. I mean, no, I mean, look, it's just, so let me, everything trends, you know, like if you look at, I mean, if you look at AU to USD, I mean, this is a trend, right? I mean, this is a very valid trend. If you look at the indices, you know, let's look at the US30. You know, this is a very, you know, nice trend. But then look, you get periods of consolidation, you know, like this. Everything just moves the same. Everything moves the same, right? You have consolidation, you have up, you know, bullish trends, bearish trends. If you go to AU, you have this bearish trends, the bullish trends, then you hit points of consolidation. So I just think it's, again, relative on what your style is. Indices, you have faster pace trends that move a lot quicker. But I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, one's more trendy than the other. I mean, maybe you would consider the indices more trendy because it's more influence. It's more, you know, I guess it's more it's more influence with what's going on right now. So taking a look at, let's move on through a couple more pairs. Pound USD daily chart is bullish, closed above this resistance here. Major area of resistance on the daily chart. We're pulling back to come back to retest. Hourly chart, been creating these higher lows. So what I'd like to see on pound USD is a retest of this trend line, of this breakout, and then we'll see some buys back up towards those highs, and then for a continuation. Euro USD, same idea. Closed bullish above this area of resistance. If you drag over the zone, prior area of resistance here as well. And so do note that, you know, we had a close above before, but it ended up going right back below. So it's something to keep in mind. However, we're not going to anticipate that. We're going to look at the hourly and be like, okay, I want to see if Euro USD can find some support here. And then if we can find some support base, then we'll look for a nice long breakout. So we'll just have to see, you know, does the Dixie continue bullish or bearish? It's probably going to dictate what happens on pound USD and Euro USD. In about less than an hour, we have ADP non-farm. So it's something to remember. USD JPY. looking bearish here. I mean, you have this resistance here. You have this trend line. Broke through the lows. And so now what I want to look for here is I'm going to draw my fibs. So since we broke structure here, I'd like to see some type of retracement to create a lower high. Around 50% retracement, and then we'll see that push back down to the negative 27%, which will be this retest of this trend line here as well. So for USD JPY, Xavier, perfect timing. I'm going over USD JPY right now. We're in this consolidation, so I wouldn't trade this consolidation. It just doesn't have really a directional bias. I mean, I guess you can, because it has a range. So if you 30 pips, it's not terrible. I guess you can probably get maybe a 2-to-1, but the move is outside this range. You have a very clean move to the upside, very clean move to the downside here. So for USD JPY, I honestly would just wait for some type of move above, or some type of move below. That's what I would wait for. If you want to trade the range, go for it. You just sell here, look for a pushback down. Just range trade. ADP is at 815, so it might push it out of the range, hopefully, and then we can get some type of play. But right now, I don't really have a bias for it, because it's just consolidating here ahead of news. But you have your levels to play off of, and you have very clean ranges on both sides of the breakout, so just keep an eye on that. AUD USD, trading these higher lows. If we bring this over, it's in this channel here, nice ascending channel. Rejected resistance here, going down to the 1 hour. 1 hour is finding some support. So pretty decent area actually to buy, because we have very clean ranged looking left. So you could look for something like this, or take a long, stop below that low, and look for a push back up to fill some of this move. However, do keep in mind that this has happened to me before, so I'd be cautious. Is it stopped close to this trend line on purpose, to where, okay, people think it's basing, but then it does one last wick to retest, and then it goes, right? So this is something I've seen a lot that I would just be cautious of, because typically when you have this pretty steep move, the first consolidation and run is not it. You get like a fake out, people get in, and then it dips, and then it goes. So I would definitely keep an eye out on that. But AUD USD actually has a very clean price action today, so I would consider some longs in one of these, within this range here. I don't think this is it, though. It's a little early for that. UCAD. Daily charts finding some support. Really. One hour now creating these higher lows, broke through these highs, coming back to retest and potentially continue bullish. If we do break through these lows here, then it's going to be a nice continuation of the downside. So watch this area and this area. These two levels here is going to tell you if we're going to go bullish or bearish for the day. Do we maintain price action above and continue, or do we start filtering through lows and then push down? This is what we want to look for UCAD. Pound AUD. Bullish engulfing yesterday above resistance, and we're now continuing. Very clean price action. However, we have very clean range. I'd expect maybe we get some type of pullback to retest this breakout and then a continuation. Potentially something like this from overnight. AUD JPY, the sells were really, really clean yesterday. We found some support overnight and then sold off through it. Finding some now support here. So looking very similar to AUD USD, to where if we can find some support here and then get a rally back towards this retest point, that would be valid. So looking at AUD JPY for that idea. Euro JPY. 4-hour chart, creating this descending wedge here with these lower highs. Very clean price action looking left. So what I'd like to see is some kind of close below and an actual close below, and then a push to the downside. However, what we might end up getting, since we still have range, is a support and then a push back up to retest this trend line here. So we'll look at one of those two plays. I mean, this has very clean range as well, so we'll just have to see which way it decides to hold. Yes, I've been short since Thursday. You've been short UJ since Thursday. Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, shorts are definitely in play. I mean, shorts are clearly the better play right now. So I think you're in the right side. Been hedging off profits. Nice. You use FTMO? No, I don't use FTMO. That's like, I feel like FTMO is the company you go to first if you join Forex, because you don't really know any others. And then once you branch out and start seeing all the other prop firms, FTMO is just kind of like not the best, right? So like one of the better ones I've tried lately, and I can't speak for anything much of this yet because this is new to me, so I'm still working to get paid out from them. However, this could potentially be the best one I've ran into once I get paid out. I would definitely look at either the funded trader or the company that I've used and I've gotten paid out from them multiple times, and they're very, very reliable, very good company. Is My Forex Funds. Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't do FTMO. I don't like them that much. But My Forex Funds is who I've actually gotten paid out for and or with, and actually have a reputation with. However, who I might end up switching to, because I think they have some better rules and better things about their prop firm as far as you can merge accounts. You have higher payout rates, or I guess a payout percentage and everything. The funded trader, and if you use the code seize the day right now, and look, I don't have any affiliation with any of these guys, so I'm just kind of going off of my experience. If you use the code seize the day here, you get 90% lifetime payouts, 5% off, yada yada. But definitely check these two out, because in my opinion, these two are much better than FTMO. If you actually go to My Forex Funds YouTube channel, you can go see the video. They interviewed me. You can go watch the video on their YouTube channel. But yeah, that's going to be everything for YouTube. Again, I'm going to hop off and trade with my guys on Zoom. If you're looking to come trade live with us, go check out vanttradingforex.com. We'd love to have you. But yeah, thanks for hopping on, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day. Safe trading. Peace.